Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Post Cologne. Today we're taking a look at Lattafa Qaa'ed Al Shabaab. Alright, so Qaa'ed Al Shabaab is from the House of Lattafa. It's an eau de parfum concentration, and you can pick this sucker up for $21 at places like Fragrance Buy and Perfumes Online. I'm going to have links down in the description if you decide you want to check this one out. Also have a coupon code to save yourself $5 off your first purchase at either one of those sites if you decide you want to shop with them. Presentation on this, really quite nice. This nice kind of cylinder casing to it. It's got this kind of faux leather feel to it. It's got this engraved kind of emblem on the front. Qaa'ed Al Shabaab written across the bottom there. Authentic sticker hologram on the back there. So overall, a pretty nice looking presentation. Nice kind of soft leathery feel to it, but I'm pretty sure it's a fake leather. Slides off like so, revealing our bottle sitting in this nice little podium. And if you're familiar with the original Qaa'ed, then this will look pretty familiar because it's pretty much the same bottle, just a different color of kind of casing on it. This is kind of a cheap plastic kind of casing, so that's not really a metal that's on it, but it has this nice kind of like dot pattern, almost kind of like, I don't know what you would call that texture, but nice kind of texture on it. And the name of the fragrance right there. Nice thick heavy glass on the bottom, and the cap on this pretty lightweight, pretty cheap feeling plastic case to it. Like if I crush this with all my power right now, I could probably break this. So a little bit of a cheapie for the lid on this, and the atomizer on this, half decent, gets the job done. Decent distribution, decent puffs, nothing to write home about, but overall for $21, nice presentation. So if you're wondering what Lattafa's Qaa'ed Al Shabaab smells like, you have come to the right place. I'm about to tell you. Some of the notes listed in this are osmanthus, ylang-ylang, leather, cedar, dry amber, and oud wood. So let me tell you what I get from this fragrance. In the opening, you get those top notes, the osmanthus, that ylang-ylang, but you get that mid of the leather screaming through. Really nice sort of like leather jacket, a little bit of animalic leather, so kind of like a saddle leather coming through, but it mixes with that osmanthus, giving it kind of a dried apricot fruit sort of note coming into it, adding a little bit of sweetness, a little touch of green, and then ylang-ylang kind of adds a little bit of tanginess to it, but it also adds this kind of rubber accord. So it's got this kind of this floral rubbery feel mixing with that kind of sweet fruit accord and that really nice old leather jacket, animalic style of leather. Really, really nice. Those top notes kind of round out the leather, so it's not too pungent, it's not too aggressive, but it is a very bold style of leather, and it's really quite nice. I like how those notes kind of play together and they kind of balance each other out, so one thing's not screaming ahead more than the other. As this develops, you get a little bit of cedar wood coming through from that mid, so you get this kind of nice, light, airy cedar. Adds a little bit of spice to it, adds that kind of masculine wood to it, but it also has like a little pop of citrus that kind of appears for a little while, just adding a little bit more of that tanginess to it, giving it a little bit kind of an energizing style to it. Really quite nice how that cedar plays in, but it is mostly kind of that woody accord that you're gonna get from that cedar. And as this dries down, you get this really nice dry amber that comes through, and the oud wood is more of a wood in this case. It does have that kind of oud feel, it does give it kind of a kiss of that Middle Eastern vibe, but it's not like a medicinal or a skanky style of oud. It is pretty subtle. It does kind of sit behind that leather, sits behind that dry amber and that cedar for the most part, giving it more of a kind of a woody accord, kind of accentuating things. And just forms a really nice, bold, masculine, sort of unique, but nothing too mind-blowing style of leather fragrance. The best way to describe this fragrance is like an old leather jacket that you're wearing, but you're riding like a motorcycle on some new tires. So you got that kind of like new tire smell kind of in the background, that kind of rubbery accord I was talking about. Sitting on your motorcycle, new rubber tires, and you're kind of driving past an apricot orchard, some dry woods, maybe sitting on the side of the road. That's the kind of vibe you're gonna get from this. It's leather jacket through and through, but it has those other scent accords that kind of dance around the edges, adding a little bit of character, a little bit of different personality to it, and overall, it's a really enjoyable scent profile. So when it comes to the performance of Lattafa's Qaa'ed Al Shabaab, I get pretty good longevity off of this. I get about 7, maybe 8 hours off of my skin. And when I get it on my clothes, this just goes. Like I have to wash my shirts, you know, to get that smell out. I'll smell it into the next day when I do get it on my clothing. But the projection on this is fairly moderate. I'd say for the first hour, hour and a half, this does push off pretty good, but it does settle in quite quickly. So that last kind of 6 hours that it's living on your skin, it does sit fairly close. You're gonna have to get a little bit closer. Your special someone's gonna have to get a little bit closer in order to really pick up that scent. It's not a huge scent bubble that you're getting on this, but the longevity of this is quite nice. Like I was getting whiffs of this throughout the day when I do wear this one. Like I said, especially if I'm getting some of my clothing and if I move around, if I shake my shirt, take my jacket off, I will get like a nice whiff of that nice leather accord. So I would say the performance on this is pretty good. I do enjoy the longevity. I wish the projection was a little bit better, but it is a very bold, very masculine style of leather. So I think if this projected too hard, it could be a little bit too much. So it might be just the perfect amount of projection on this. So overall, I'd say the performance on this is average to a little bit above average. So pretty happy with that. So when it comes to the where and when I think Lattafa's Qaa'ed Al Shabaab would be most appropriate, I definitely think this is a fall winter style of fragrance. I think it's got that kind of nice warm leather jacket, sort of bold masculine feel to it that just really suits the colder weather. I definitely think this is like more like fall. This just has a really nice fall vibe to it, like leaves on the ground, like wearing a leather jacket. That's kind of what this comes across as. Spring, you could pull this off. This is maybe a little bit too heavy at sort of the warmer days, perhaps maybe in the evening. And in the summer, I think this would be a little bit too cloying. I think this would be too much in the summer. I think the heat would just blast this off, and this would be like wearing a thick, heavy leather jacket casually in the summer. It just wouldn't make sense, just wouldn't fit the vibe. Definitely fall and winter style of fragrance. In terms of occasions, I definitely think this is a casual style of fragrance. This could be a date night fragrance. It depends on your date perhaps, because like I said, it's got that masculinity to it. It has that boldness, but it might be a little bit too leathery. It might be a little bit too bold for a date night fragrance. So it depends what you're going for there, fellas, but there might be other options. Depends on your date, so I'll leave that up to you guys. But I definitely think this is a casual wear fragrance. Formally, I don't think this is a dress it up kind of fragrance. Like I said, it's got kind of that ruggedness to it, that masculinity that's more suited for kind of the bad boy leather jacket sort of feel to it, rather than the kind of classy leather jacket, like kind of the dress up suit. I think this is a little bit more on the casual side. So fall winter fragrance, casual wear, maybe date night, depending on your date. So my overall thoughts on Lattafa's Qaa'ed Al Shabaab, I think this is a very nice leather fragrance. Nothing too mind-blowing, nothing too kind of unique or out of the ordinary, nothing in the niche territory, but it is a nice dumb reach leather style of fragrance. Not that classy style of leather, this is a little bit more on the rugged side, so if that's your thing, then you're going to enjoy this one. But there are other kind of rugged leather style of fragrances out there, even within the Lattafa line, like the Aurique Silver. Very kind of similar style of leather. They are different fragrances, but there are kind of parallels with the kind of style of leather they use in that kind of very bold, very kind of masculine style leather versus the kind of the fancy new leather wallet. This is a little bit more rugged, a little bit more dry, a little bit more smoky, has a little bit of spice in there, and that kind of added twist from that osmanthus and that kind of tangy, rubbery ylang-ylang that mixes in there. Really nice fragrance overall. Performance on this I can't complain about, and I think for fall and the winter this just does perfect. I think for $21 you're getting your money's worth for sure. So if you're into that kind of leather fragrance, I definitely think this is worth checking out. That's Lattafa's Qaa'ed Al Shabaab. And I want to hear from you guys. What's another Lattafa fragrance that you want to see a review on that I haven't done yet? Comment down below. Love hearing from you guys. Love getting your different recommendations. Appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.